was not live. Okay, well, anyway. So I missed that highlight, but that's okay. I got focused on the game. Anyway, now we welcome to ranting about Microsoft while trying not to die in Overwatch. The game. But, yeah, I mean, it seems as though we've come to the consensus before this show when I thought I was recording, but we got distracted by the game of Overwatch. And, well, anyway, here we are defending our robot that has gotten to 95 meters, so this is the good part, where we bring it home, hopefully.
They just won that team fight, so I don't know about that.
Well, we are certainly the farthest right now we've ever been. Thank you for joining the stream, Cherish. Anyway.
Probably.
Oh, crap.
I can't heal this guy forever.
I got killed by a mercy pistol.
Feels good.
Oh, yeah, no, it does not. Oh, that is so hardcore.
Dignified way to die in this whole game.
Seriously. Well, you know, that's not the way that most Mercy fans would want her to end them. But that's too dirty for this good Christian channel. No, not at all.
No, I died before.
Okay, well. Alrighty! Eat dynamite! Come on, come on, come on. Oh! Oh, crap! Alright, eat dynamite again, because I regenerated. Who's healing me? I don't care, it's fine. Uh-oh, my health and healing is going down! Oh, right, I forgot that there's passive healing on all the heroes now.
Yeah,
okay, whatever. I'm like, whatever about it. I guess it's good for when you really just don't want to be killed like 5,000 times in a row, so you just keep backing off, but there's something that's missing. There, about that. Ooh, okay. Backing up, and throwing, and you're dead.
So you back up with the group and kind of keep us
okay,
living.
Well, I burned him a lot with dynamite. Oh, and then I got arrowed in the face. Great, cool. So, yeah, I think there was a culture mismatch with Bethesda because they were a single-player set of studios, and Microsoft tried to foster multiplayer. And Bethesda, to be fair, before the acquisition, because Redfall had been well in development for the PS5, and Microsoft lied about that. I mean, they didn't have to disclose the truth because nobody had announced that yet, but it was pretty obvious.
I think it's a reasonable assumption.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious that something was being worked on.
And I mean, did Microsoft ever say it really wasn't? Because I remember them saying, like, there were never any platforms announced, which is true.
Yeah, that's the never platforms announced. That's the technicality that allows them to get away with it legally.
Yeah, so I feel like that's not
They
really
technically did not lie, because there was nothing to lie about. There was no announcement yet, because the game hadn't been announced yet, and Microsoft just acquired the name for cheap, and just shepherded the game along with marketing. That's it. That's all they did. It certainly makes their involvement in the project, which did not sell as well as they hoped, but is too much of a golden goose in marketing terms to ever be killed off. They're not going to kill off Bethesda. People would be so angry about that.
Yeah, I feel like Bethesda, of all the things that they've acquired, Bethesda has one of the longest leashes. Bethesda Game Studios proper.
Right.
At least. Like, you know, even if Starfield did underperform slightly, although it seems like it did sell really well.
Nice. Thanks, Lucio.
Like, even if Starfield was like more abject failure, you know, they'd still get a chance on one of their stuff.
Right, because they have such cultural cachet now. Especially with the Fallout TV show, which Microsoft wants Fallout 5 faster. I hope that doesn't mean that people get laid off if the project doesn't sell well.
I wonder where that Fallout I feel like, you know, if there's anything they could faster, you know, because that's the sort of thing that's been rumored for such a long time.
Yeah, so perhaps it's been cooking for a long time as well.
Right now, if they needed to if they needed to say like, hey, let's fast track something Fallout related to get it out, somewhat capitalize on this, it would be that.
Yeah, but maybe it ends up being a smaller game with a third-party studio. I mean, Bethesda never ruled us out.
But even a smaller new game would take longer than a remaster, so I feel like the next Fallout release is probably going to be that. Whether it shows up like at the summer showcase or not, I don't know. But I feel like it's been
I think it gets announced as a, yeah, we're working on this. Stop asking. Yeah, we're working on Fallout 5, and this is when we plan to have it out. Like, 2026 in time for season 2 of the show. I mean, they're gonna want to give the writers 2 years of that to really
somehow, unless they just like switch that and Elder Scrolls around, because it feels like Elder Scrolls is kind of next in line to come out.
Oh, well then, maybe they hold it for launch of the Xbox Series, whatever, X2, X-Men United.
We might lose this. Oh, I'm dead. Yeah.
What? No, we're still in the lead, but just by a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but we have to. I don't think we have time to properly.
Oh no! Oh, darn. Okay, well, I gotta turn down the game volume a lot. There were times I just could not hear you because there was so many things cacophony in my ear. But I did my best, and it seems like I got an endorsement. That was you, so you absolutely earned the endorsement. Well, I'm part of the play of the game at least. Oh, goodness. And he got life pulled by a Life Weaver. That Life Weaver was good. If I could endorse an enemy player...
You can.
Well, I forgot to. But okay. I endorsed you. That was the important part because you came in clutch, so... With the shield there before? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We would have been toast without that. So that was a crucial moment.
In there. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyway. That was better than our early gameplay anyway. We were just kind of warming up. So maybe it was good that that was not live streamed in front of the entire internet. But, anyway. Like, I've felt pulled along by all this. So I'm just gonna assess each game as critically as I can. Like, okay, is there any evidence that that there is a weakness sufficient for this to end the careers of anybody? That's just gonna be something we have to do. We have to hold Microsoft to a higher standard.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's like, hey, with this whole thing we've been trying, as much as I personally love Game Pass and don't see myself subscribing anytime soon, it's like, you can keep up? Okay, the strategy isn't working. Someone has to be held accountable for it at some point.
Yeah, well...
Game Pass is great for me in my wallet, but clearly it's not the silver bullet for them, so...
Yeah, because it's so freaking easy to get cheap Game Pass. That, like, one of my family members has it through June. I have it through November. These people are clearly not buying a ton of Game Pass every month. And even $14.99 a month is too little. So either they're going to start excluding games, like Call of Duty for a limited period. Yeah, but they're going to do it.
Introducing more tiers and stuff.
They could. I mean... I hate to believe it's true either, but well, like, obviously somebody suggested it because it showed up in the leaks for the 57th time this year, leaking trouble at Microsoft. That's like everybody's favorite thing to do now.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft's always been of them.
Yeah, they've always been kind of weird about company secrecy and crap.
More so, even, it feels like they've never particularly cared about leaks as much.
Yeah. I'm just going for sound effect volume at like 50 because it was deafening. There's just so many new characters, and it's hard to keep track of things. They all have different callouts and different weapon sounds. And that's like, why is the ultimate that loud? I mean, I guess it's to be hearable across the map, but that was easier when there were less heroes.
Had their bastion for their revive. And they've got a Torbjorn turret in their back line too.
Well, I'm outputting a ton of damage, and their Reese is dead. I did not get the shield, but that's okay. I'm not really supposed to be on the front lines anyway, so I am going to eat their Mercy's health for breakfast real soon.
Activating self-destruct sequence.
Okay. Well, I delivered a massive amount of damage, it's true, but... Okay, grabbing that health pack, and their Torbjorn is gonna be toast! Oh, darn, well, I still have my ultimate. Yeah. Anyway, like... So, like, the list of promising games that they originally funded and originally created and did not get the sequel treatment that would have elevated them to excellence, perhaps. Like a Rise 2 for Xbox Series X? Are you kidding me? That would have sold boxes. But they were unwilling to invest in themselves for so long, and then they had to make up ground quickly because they figured correctly that if PlayStation won the exclusives battle at launch, then they would win the war pretty quickly. But it seems like the console war is dying out. It seems like consoles are just changing from what they used to be, which is fine. Businesses evolve. But does it have to involve quite so many layoffs?
I mean, yeah, that's the crucial point, is like, that this has gone another way.
Well,
it's just
okay, well,
to feel like such a spreadsheet decision, you know?
Yeah.
And why are we spending money on this? It's not making enough money for us right now.
Why did we spend $77 billion? You spent $77 billion for the next 10 years of content. That was supposed to be the idea, but you were supposed to invest in people. The tech companies were supposed to invest in their employees. That was the deal, is they got all this power because they employed so many people. And now, it seems all of these tech companies are going for an AI gold rush. And what's happening is that this is going to infect everything in technology, and then it will melt the planet if we don't stop it.
Stop the payload.
If we don't stop it, then everybody will be unemployed and depend on government income while the planet burns from all the energy usage. Like, this is not science fiction. This is the AI takeover. It's not the robots are revolting, it's that the tech companies have decided that our jobs are no longer necessary, and therefore, large segments of society are no longer necessary.
Back with a vengeance.
I mean, that's the frightening part. Is if they just decide that studios are no longer necessary and there's no reason why. If they just decide, well, you know what, we didn't make enough money immediately, so we're going to cancel this promising game and leave Crytek with directionless for several years without work, while they try to figure out how to remaster their games to survive.
Turning up the heat.
I mean, Crytek, I don't think they've released a new game in a while, and Crysis 4 seems to be on its way at some point. So, you know, everybody's going for the big sequels that everybody will recognize because they make money. Microsoft has decided that as a business it would like to make money in the game industry too. it has that right. You know, nobody said that it was illegal for console makers to want to make money. But you know who tried to make money selling the boxes? I'll give you one guess.
Death in my wake.
Well, I mean, like, the consoles with low to no margins are kind of just accepted practice because they were necessary to get consoles in toy shops.
Directly make money on the boxes. I mean, that's always Nintendo.
Yeah, that's true. They usually do. But, other than them, I think that, that Sega tried a bit too hard to capitalize on their oldest box while doing a new box and try to make more money that way. Because the Saturn was expensive.
Yeah.
But I was actually thinking of the 3DO because, well, Trip Hawkins, who eventually founded, or who was on the board of EA, and left to found the 3DO company, he was like, okay, here's the idea. We have the manufacturers do all the manufacturing, and in return, they get to set the prices of the hardware. And in return, we're going to make the game so cheap that, like, this will have a ton of games. That was the idea. But most of the games ended up being movie games, and it launched with one console exclusive. It's some sort of racing game that I forget the name of off the top of my head.
I know what game you're talking about.
It was Crystal Dynamics' first game. So I should remember it at the top of my heart, but I've had to keep so many new things in my head.
I forget.
We'll figure it out later, when we're not fighting for our lives against the payload. Oh no, I had that bastion, but oh well. Without me defending, this could be a real problem.
I'm hanging in there, just barely.
Well, yeah, it was the packing game. There was also supposed to be Jurassic Park, but that got delayed. So, like, that was a problem. Because that was supposed to be the big holiday game for 3DO, and then it was all downhill from there.
Nope,
the console is kind of a make-or-break business, and it seems that the Xbox Series X has been making enough to justify its own existence, but not much else.
Yeah.
Because it's been very expensive to create.
But, yeah, it's not, like, and ultimately, I guess, it's up to Microsoft whether they find that good enough to keep investing in hardware.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I can't pretend that I have any divine, or that I can divine anything from their decisions anymore, because, like, I never would have bet that Tango would be first on the chopping block.
Dang. That hits hard for you, doesn't it? You know, Arcane Austin had promise. That's who I got most emotionally attached to. I understand why people like Tango Gameworks, but I was never the biggest fan of Evil Within.
Yeah, I wasn't really a fan of Tango, but the direction they were heading...
I liked it enough when I played it, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, that was about it. Which is fine. Like, it was a fine game. I'm coming in clutch!
Alright, we swept them pretty much, so... Probably one more team fight and be good, as long as we can hold them off.
There we go! That's how we do it! 5-player kill streak, team wipe! Oh, crud. Oh no, I got surrounded by their Torbjorn, but I really decimated them there, and... So, Blammo.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay.
Turn it up, turn it up!
Nice try, but
Activating self-destruct sequence.
I'm hopping in there real quick, dude. Fuck them up. Let's see.
Oh, there, Reese's gonna kill me. Oh, they're pushing. Bastion and Reese are a problem. My ult was almost destroyed.
No! Arg!
They almost wiped us there.
Destroyed.
And all we have
What
left
is...
right now is on.
What is going on here? Goodness. Well...
One more push. My ult's ready. I'm just gonna get in there until...
Yeah, Rise hurts... for me. Like, that's an old wound that got brought up by all these, all these layoffs. Like, I thought that age of no games and layoff people was over. But apparently it wasn't, because that's just the dictate of modern capitalism. Oh no!
And we keep grabbing
Heartbreaker
from the jaws of victory.
Oh, Heartbreaker. I got surrounded, and it was too quick. Because I used my, like, shadow power already. My shadow stealth movement inside their lines. But, oh well. Not even a 5-player kill streak by Bastion, which I never thought I would say ever again, because Bastion used to really stink everybody. But, well, what can you do? Other than just wipe them twice and then suddenly they come back and just are like really good, which is
that
good.
That last team fight was brutal. We were doing so well up until then, but I couldn't get back in there in time.
But you know what? I am ready to go again pretty soon, but to get on with this part of the show, where we're talking about Microsoft, I would like to talk for a minute about Sunset Overdrive. This one hurts a lot, because I was really hyped for the idea of a sequel eventually. It seemed like Insomniac was open to the idea, it was just a phone call away.
Unfortunately, once they got put on Spider-Man, and that, even before they were owned by Sony, once they were working on the Spider-Man IP, it was like, okay, this is what they're going to be doing for the next decade, probably, because Insomniac really knows how to get good moving characters, and that's what you need in a Spider-Man game. So that was just such a perfect marriage.
Well, why doesn't Sony
once
just
that
make
was
a bunch
announced,
of...
it was like, all right, that's it for any hope of any sequel of Sunset Overdrive.
But okay, what have Blue Point really been doing?
Recently, I don't know.
Can they remake Sunset Overdrive?
I guess. I kind of assumed they were like Nixies and just helping with the PC stuff, but don't actually know.
I've played the Xbox version to death. I'm not really interested in collecting all the achievements on a TV with the blurry 30 FPS, but what I cannot do, unfortunately, is play it on the Steam Deck. It says it is unsupported. And therefore I hang my head, for I can no longer play this game. Or maybe I'll stream it for my own, like, gratification one day, but, like, this franchise is gone. Yeah. It had so much promise. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I loved that game. I
knew a sequel would make it...
First came out.
I figured a sequel would make it really shine, and maybe it would have found a multiplayer audience on Game Pass. Because that was part of the problem, was that multiplayer audiences just weren't coming to the Xbox One because it just hadn't sold that well. It eventually sold okay, like somewhere in the neighborhood of 65 million is optimistic, but the PS4 ran away with the generation, but only got to about 106, which is like probably about the ceiling of any individual console right now. I think that
if you don't count the Switch,
yeah. Well, I mean,
Switch is kind of its own thing at this point.
The Switch 2 is going to be sold eventually to Nintendo Switch enthusiasts who want to carry their library forward, which is everybody who has a Switch. So yeah. Why wouldn't you get the next version of the Switch for the family?
Yeah.
I mean, that if it's reasonably priced, that might be a good Christmas gift for the whole family. Because it's like, well, actually, I would like to have a few games. Like, maybe start fresh with some, instead of my giant game library that I barely played. I don't know. I'm fine with not having a giant handheld digital game library on the Switch at my fingertips in favor of a few games that I play often with the family. That would be a good case for that. Maybe a Switch 2 Mini would be even better, because squeezing a power is easier when you have a slightly smaller screen. So perhaps that would be a good gimmick for Switch 2 Mini. Or that's just my name for it. It would probably be something like the Lite or the...
Yeah, they probably just continue the Lite branding. That seems to work, I guess.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
I
also kind of wonder if they'll. I wonder if they'll do like multiple SKUs at launch for the Switch too.
Like
if they have, you know, if they
maybe the mini comes for really little kids.
Exactly, like if they have right out the gate,
mostly
like
touchscreen.
Switch to Lite or something, just like, hey, this is the more portable, less fancy one, and then kind of, you know, the more TV oriented one. So they, I don't know. I do kind of wonder what they'll end up doing.
Yeah, well,
I mean, the Switch, you know, just launched as one SKU, and that's all they had for a few years before they started doing the OLED, the Lite.
Right, yeah.
That's
Nintendo likes to
they
take
want,
their time with their
I could send them
fabrication.
some stuff, too.
They're doing LED this time for the Switch, too, because OLED screens are hard to come by nowadays. Well, with the Vision Pros demanding them, TVs demanding them, Nintendo's like, you know what, we're gonna stay out of this one, just for now, because people just want the console at the cheapest price that they feel they can afford to get into Nintendo's unrivaled IP library. So, like, they'll pay anything, but not like anything, not like $600, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's always going to be a ceiling for Nintendo. That
which
they
is
don't
like
go
around
above.
$400, it seems.
Yeah, right now, like, I guess
400 is pretty good.
Kind of, with, you know, because this will be their first console launch since inflation has been so high that I wonder, like, what they'll actually price at. I feel like definitely 400 has been their ceiling.
Yeah, well,
been going above that.
Wouldn't the Wii adjusted for inflation have been 400?
No, I doubt it, because it was 250 at launch.
Well, I mean, like, that's just a theory. I'll go check it later.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised if they feel that this is reflecting inflation a bit. Because, like, the Switch released at 300 before, but they increased the price with the Switch OLED and did price targeting. So there will be price targeting. It just will becoming later once they are more comfortable manufacturing with Switch 2 and, like, maybe the display shortage is over. Otherwise, that becomes a hard sell, and maybe an OLED comes later. Which, like, might be a reasonable business decision, you know, if we can't bully Nintendo into giving us a nicer screen than what they can make. They always have good ambitions, so I'm sure they'll come up with something that will please. Nintendo is safe. They are the blue ocean. They are the endless ocean. I would buy a Switch 2 just for endless ocean.
Yeah, I actually was looking at some games like that.
That would shine on a Switch 2 at a hyper frame rate.
Endless Ocean games.
And if that's a true exclusive, and then maybe I get like one other thing for the family, and I play Endless Ocean occasionally like I used to. Maybe they start emulating Wii games, and we get like Wii or Wild Africa Safari. Like those games please the family, so emulation of Wii games with the magnetic Joy-Cons, that might be easier because like maybe they just have the gyrosphere on the outside and that's magnetic. That's certainly a possibility, I think. They already know how to have, like, haptics inside the thing. I mean, how else are they doing magnetism other than with magnets? Maybe the magnet is on the outside. And it's, like, really thin or something. When you see it on the outside. And it's mostly still inside, obviously. But can do all the gyro things, perhaps with a little bit more technical weight so that, like, it's a toy. It'll be a toy. It'll be more of a reactive toy. And I think Nintendo likes that because, well, then maybe they save a little bit on the cost? I'm not really sure how that would work, but they might find a way to be like, hey, we're like the only people who are using toy magnets right now. We just would like high-powered magnets. Or our magnetic controllers. I don't know. Like, I suspect they have something off their sleeve, and I would be very delighted if it was that. Like, actual magnets for actual tactile feedback for children in a world full of screens. Maybe it'll be able to do screenless experiences with just audio for, like,
I'm about to pitch a fit.
littler kids? I don't know. Like, maybe that would be Nintendo's break into that market with, like, optics that allow children to listen and, like, play. I don't know. The possibilities are endless for that sort of thing, actually, now that I keep thinking on it. But, like, yeah, Nintendo's going to be fine. They have mastered being recession-proof and having endless demand for RP.
Yeah.
Neither
I do feel
of which,
like they've learned a lot of life lessons. I really don't think they'll make a mistake that badly again. At least not in this era of leadership that, you know, was around mostly for it.
well, Nintendo actually learns their lessons. Because Microsoft is like, we're gonna get games out on time, and then, well...
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, over a long enough stretch of time, no company really learns their lessons permanently, because there's always new leadership ready to do stupid things, but... I feel like the recency of the Wii U still lingers on Nintendo, so like they know they can't.
Adaptive circuits engaged. Zarya.
Like they need to make it as smooth and effortless for people, which the Wii U was not.
Well, I think they have the formula for success with the Switch, and they could just keep building from that. I just destroyed their Zenyatta, and woo!
There we go. Finally, one of them.
Yeah, like, no company can grow forever, so eventually there was going to be some contraction during the economic shock. And high inflation is that. But before, when they had the chance to build up the library when things were cheap, to make, they did not. They absolutely failed at that. Like, Recore, dead and gone. Quantum Break, or some more like Quantum Headache for in terms of expenses for a TV side of Microsoft that never happened. The TV show was okay. Like I would have enjoyed it as an okay TV show. And finally, they have success with a Microsoft-owned TV show. Uh-oh, whoops. He's using immortality, damn it. No. You can just not, thank you.
Rushing in.
Oh no!
Oh, I'm too late.
Well.
I rushed in right after everyone died.
There's just something wrong with the... There we go. Yeah, that's fine. I just... These characters are just yelling way too much. It is very hard for me to process all that.
I wonder if your audio balance is just in a weird setting.
Yeah, well, I haven't also been used to this in a minute, but, like, you know, I mostly get what you're saying, but then we also have to concentrate on the stressful game. It's like, okay, maybe if we play Overwatch 2 next time, it's just us. But that's okay. Anyway, so, because we have gotten some epic gameplay, and I think, well, we might be able to pull this out if I can...
No, probably not. I'm trying. My ult's almost ready. So I might not get to use it. Okay, I'm just gonna use it.
Okay, well, that's a well-timed shield. While I'm burning them with dynamite.
But their Lucio also ulted, so...
Darn it.
Kind of negates it. I'm just holding my...
Oh, goodness. I got...
a teammate can show up.
That was an embarrassing way to die.
Alright, well, we tried.
Darn. Defeat after defeat after defeat, ladies and gentle germs. But we can rally for our last few matches, hopefully. By a stoned person. With a pretty cool skin, admittedly. Makes him look like a satyr or something. I like it. I dig it. Oh. And now I'm in the play of the game again! Again, for a bad reason. But, like... Well, you know, I wish the remaining studios luck. I will certainly be playing Hellblade and Maybe their their cheaper guerrilla marketing is where they also save costs. Like the marketing of the Xbox app channel, where people just turn on their PCs and then they see the game. I don't know, like, maybe they figure they just need to change up their tactics a bit as well, too, which could be good for the rest of the studios, as Microsoft actually does streamline things. But at the same time, this is just gonna be the era of microscoping Microsoft. You know, because they're a very big company and they're spending a lot of money to automate a lot of things. I've predicted for a while an AI-powered Xbox that does a lot of things for Microsoft. It gets more AI devices into homes. It makes them seem futuristic, desirable, just like the iPad Pro. Because I need to go on a tangent about this for a few seconds while we're waiting. But who asked for the iPad Air to be heavier than the iPad Pro? That makes no sense. That's not the Air. It's just the middle thing that we have to sell because we have always sold it. Reject new technology, embrace used technology. I'm getting an iPad mini from first gen from 2012 because it's never been updated past iOS 9.3, and fingers are crossed so that I can download my old iOS games. And a mini iPad to play those with my sister would be amazing. Like the good old days when mobile games were fun, when they felt like they had promise.
Aggression is no substitute
but now,
for ability.
mobile is just noise.
Reckon that's true.
For me.
Good thing I have both.
With some really good games, I suppose, but basically are ports of better games that happen to run on iPhones or whatever. Call me when there are alternate app stores on the US iPhones. Like that's basically my thinking.
One. Attackers incoming.
Enemy in sight.
But anyway, like there were some really good games back then, and I was betrayed by Apple by having all my games taken away in, oh, well, I sniped there. I sniped their other person, who is also me. It is hard to think while under stress like this. Duh. And getting sniped by Widowmaker. Womp womp.
Now to show them that I mean business.
Ash, come on. You can pull this together and stop them before they get to that point. Anyway.
That we should fail.
Gonna kill me.
The payload has no reasonable explanation.
Yeah, I might have my bass set too high on my headphones. They might be too bassy. We'll see. I have enough audio information to be able to participate in the battle, but usually I'm doing it by myself, and that requires some adjustment for me. I got stunned, and I'm done for. Skill issue. Well, there it goes. There goes my dignity. I got sniped by the other Ash.
I'm about to pitch a fit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you there, girl. But anyway.
I'm under attack.
I mean,
Personne n'échappe à mon regard.
At least Square Enix might also be having a better idea of what they're doing now.
Yeah.
That they're like, okay, we need to shed some projects and focus on our core franchises. Because, like, their core franchises mean a lot to a lot of people. If they focus on that, they'll weather this transition, I think, for at least a couple years. Without having to really be big and have big budgets again. Because, like, budgets have always gone up and down in response to economic pressures in the game industry. Like, a lot of the later gen of these Xbox 360 and PS3 was indie-focused because the recession had happened and people wanted cheaper games.
The payload has reached the checkpoint. Let's get back in the
Like, that made that would have made perfect sense to me if I had an Xbox 360, but I did not. I was not allowed to get one, and I'd never found the time in college to justify getting a console. I played computer games because I had my computer with me all the time for homework. I swear. I mean, I did plenty of homework, but I somehow gamed. Okay. Oh goodness.
I'm gonna catch you.
Careful, we're outnumbered.
Okay. Ow, 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 ow. No! Again with being sniped by the other Ash. This person's just showing me up. I can't have that. And she has her bob up. Uh-oh.
Helping you out.
Alright, who are you again?
Nano boost administered.
I'm Diva.
Oh yeah, you're very comfortable in that role, so you can... I'm sure you can bring home... There we go, that'll help. No, I got sniped by Widowmaker again. These two ladies are just double teaming me. In the competitive sense. But anyway.
Town just ain't big enough.
Like seriously, they've got it.
Surrender to
They've almost gotten into the second checkpoint with 4 minutes left. That's gonna be a tough one to defend against.
Yep. This is a rough match so far.
Why do we keep getting matched with bad teams?
If I was less stubborn, I'd probably switch off of Diva, because I am getting melted a little too much.
But you have experience with Diva.
And
everybody has their off days, even on their favorite heroes. And clearly this is an off day for me, because I haven't played Overwatch 2 since we last played, and I've also been very busy, so... Come on.
I'm on my game
So,
now.
I'm excited to get my iPad mini tomorrow and see if anything modern still works on it. Probably some things, especially made by Apple, are still supported, kind of.
Be nourished.
I would be surprised if, like, anything made after about 2016 would survive. Like, maybe I could get older versions of my iTunes purchases, but... And games and ebooks, which is the part that I really liked about the iPad when it was, you know, fun instead of just another consumerist item to buy. Like, please justify to me, Apple, why the iPad mini costs more than an iPad that is bigger. Just the standard iPad. Like, they should have just made the iPad Air the standard iPad. Because the iPad Air is a pretty good machine, apparently, or so I've been told. I will be excited to go into an Apple store to test out these devices against each other for a video, because that's fun. Like, I like having fun with Apple devices, and Apple devices are fun. But I remember when they were more fun than just like another thing that just wants to suck you in. Perhaps the main thing for a lot of people, because they just spend so much time, so many people just spend so much time on their phones, they don't have time for anything else. But,
Here I come.
well, Microsoft wants a piece of that, but then they lay off a mobile game developer, make it make sense. Microsoft seems to be good at predicting trends, but then terrible at taking advantage of them.
Yeah. In some cases, they're too far ahead on things like the Kinect. Like, oh, let's make a personal assistant almost type thing.
Oh yeah, or a fake
5
game.
years later,
Yeah.
Or Kinect Sports Rivals, which that was a terrible game. I hated it when I had the Xbox One Kinect. The only games that really worked with the Xbox One Kinect all that well were Through, which is the best game for Kinect and one of the best indie games ever made, and nobody will ever play it again because the Xbox One Kinect is dead. And it's probably going to get expensive to get new ones, or moderately expensive to get older ones eventually, since they'll have no longer been made. People will be wanting the models from dentist offices in order to retrofit them. And, yep, we're done for. Got one more match in you?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyway. Like, this is a time of adaptation, I get it. Layoffs sometimes just happen under capitalism. The thing is that this is just, like, the cherry on top of the Banta Pudu cake, to use a friendlier phrase for that sort of thing. after years of like canceled projects, R.I.P. Scalebound. You will remain forever in my heart, Dragon game. I wanted to play a Dragon game. What little kid doesn't want to play a Dragon game? I dare you to see any kid that has not been fascinated by dragons at some point across the world. Like, the dragons are across the world for a reason. Dragons are awesome. I would have loved to play all sorts of dragons. And the multiplayer seemed cool. Like, I was told, you know, the game industry is known for delivering quality, and you believe the trailers. But it seems that the last-minute switch to add in multiplayer added a bunch of time that delayed the project, while Platinum was looting it for money. They got away with it because they got a bunch of games out for other people. But, Scalebound apparently remained in development hell for like 3 years, and then Microsoft was like, enough. We're done. And they've refused to speak out the details since. So clearly something went horribly wrong in communication, at the very least. But oh man, that game would have been so awesome! Especially if it had the co-op.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is, it could have been, but also some of that footage, when you look back at it from like the actual playable demos they had, looked pretty rough.
Yeah.
Like, who knows how much more development time it would have taken to get it into shape. And I'm sure that was part of the calculus in not ultimately
going forward. Yeah, this was probably
it, so.
This was before the era of, well, they started this in the before times, in preconception, during recession times when they were like trying to get this for cheap, by Microsoft standards, which was maybe like $50 million to make this game, and then they added scope because they thought they needed to respond to the live servicifying of everything, and then they did that way too late. By that time, the market had dried up for them, and even Halo Infinite just did not do numbers at first, the way they wanted it anyway. So they made it. Well, they also preempted this by making the multiplayer free to play. But like, they clearly wanted it to sell, and they just didn't tell us. Like, if they had said, like, actually buy our games, we would have been like, oh, sure, whatever. Like, you know, well, especially...
Why would I buy your games if you're offering me Game Pass, though?
Right, so, exactly, and again, for super cheap.
I haven't bought a first-party Microsoft game since 2017.
As I've mentioned...
I have Game Pass.
As I mentioned on previous shows, I have, used Microsoft Rewards points from past purchases and quizzes and quests and things to get the premium versions of Microsoft Flight Simulator and Forza Horizon 5. But that's it. Like, there's no reason, if you can just extend Game Pass, to ever buy Microsoft games. Like, if they're like, we're the Netflix of gaming, then people are going to be like, thank you for being the Netflix of gaming. It allows me to have a cheap library of games to constantly play. It's a good value proposition. People like it. But it doesn't make money, because we were all kidding ourselves.
Wow, I haven't gotten the attack roll in a while.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Cassidy.
Go Soldier. I haven't done it in a while.
Yeah. We've got a couple healers already, so we just need one person to be the... Yep, that's a good tank. Don't change him, why? Whatever, dude. Anyway. But like, yeah, Sony's adapting by pushing for AAA blockbusters. We'll see how that does after the Marvel games are done. Maybe the Marvel games go over budget and get delayed. Because, like, they're trying to do all these crazy new technologies for the PS6 and justify them, and then they end up running into R&D cost overruns. Like, that could be very tough for them.
Yeah, but at least for the Insomniac stuff, they are like one of the most reliable studios out there.
Yeah, but there was some crunch.
Yeah.
in the development of the Spider-Man games.
The developers help, but regardless of how they've gotten there, they have gotten there with ruthless efficiency over their entire careers.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's not going to be a new IP game from them until 2031, so that kind of stinks. But but I am kind of okay with that. Because I'm pretty sure the Marvel games will be awesome, and then eventually when they're on Steam Deck, they'll be awesome as well at that point. And I got wiped by Sojourn. I am so rusty with Cassidy.
Yeah, I'm rusty with Soldier as well.
I've been playing too.
I've been queuing for all roles since I've been playing this game again. It always gives me either defense or support, which makes sense. Everybody wants to play attacker. Yeah. But so this is the first time I've actually played an attacker class in like months. So hopefully I'm not doing too terrible.
Yeah, well,
I'm getting some kills, so
we're in the lead right now, which is also a good sign.
Yeah.
But like, these matches can definitely turn quickly. Yep, this is definitely a good time to push. I'm just looking for flankers, as that's Cassidy's job. Oh crap! There's a Reinhardt using flames and stuff.
We're in the lead. Good work.
You're doing okay.
Okay, well,
just kind of on the robot right now. Sir Reinhardt almost got my ult.
I defeated their Brigitte.
Oh, let's break it! Yeah! Time for spring.
Almost got their Reinhardt. Oh, he's trying to shield. Get back here. I don't want to push too crazy though. I need to.
They're like Weaver's toast. Yep, there we go.
Feeling the heat.
They are
cooling down.
We need to actually play the objective though.
No. That's true, but I really disrupted them.
Yeah.
I've still got it. Crap. Well, I gotta roll. Alright, it's about to be high noon, but
a cure for all the tales.
Not so fast.
It's high noon.
well, it was important to get rid of their Sojourn quickly, so more important than trying to get a thing on 2 tanks. Well, their Brigitte is low, so
yeah, got their Brigitte, and now
we could very well end up with a win here.
Come on, Cole.
I'm excited.
We're in good position so far.
Yeah, I think I've found my home in Overwatch again, which is, I've always been a Cassidy person. But, anyway.
Have to stop their push early, before they get too much momentum.
Who needs healing?
Forward spawn lost.
Brigitte.
I'm on fire. Might have used too
die.
much lighter fluid.
Okay, thank you, Mercy.
Alright, well.
You're stuck.
Got him. Oh no, he snuck up on me. Well, I guess it was bound to happen at some point. A Cassidy respects another Cassidy.
Bit early.
Alright, there we go.
Anyway, alright, so, there we go. Anyway. I guess in the end, like, with all of these games that never reached potential and games that were never made, this is just a very hit or miss business. Like,
this
and right now Xbox
now.
is missing, but they could very well turn it around after this year.
Surrender.
If I have hope of that, then I can endure anything. Even if I have to, then as a result, I'll get clobbered by Reinhardt. Because the lights are kept on in 2034 by Microsoft or something. I don't know. Like, they have incentive to keep their really good multiplayer games going for a while.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, for me, like, mine's, like, if I didn't have a lot of games on an Xbox right now, I really couldn't care less if they hung out as a platform holder. But for me, it's like, okay, I have a ton of Xbox games.
Heroes never
I'd love
die.
to see those carry on into future
Close your
consoles.
eyes.
So that's my personal vested interest right now.
Right. I think that should be every gamer's vested interest, is for every platform to have a chance to grow and
Receive
thrive.
my aid.
Because then that means more games,
Enhancing your
and more games are never a bad thing.
a taste of
I mean, more exploitative games perhaps could be done differently, and we could have less need for immediate cost cutting eventually by asking, you know what, can we get smaller prices for smaller games? We don't have time for the big games anymore.
No time to
So
waste.
why is everybody trying to be the biggest game all the time? It doesn't make any sense. So there will be a period of contraction in budgets, perhaps, but people will learn how to do projects quickly and on time and under budget. And it's not the developers' fault. They just were given the budgets to work with, and then they needed more sometimes because of technical problems that they had no control over or something. Like
I mean,
terrible engines in the case of
through that
Anthem.
deals with delays and over budget.
This ends
Yeah,
now.
well, Anthem will always be a sore spot for me too, because I actually kind of got invested in the story. I just saw what they were doing anyway. Because I was like, oh, historical symbolism and mythology and all that cool stuff. Now that will never happen.
Surrender to my
So
will.
what was the point of all the time that I did play? I'm not even really sure we played all that much together of that game.
No, I only played maybe 3 or 4 hours.
Barrels are smoking.
Yeah, but like, I almost considered quitting the game when there was a you and me both, buddy. Ah. Oh, I got there for G for another 5-player kill streak. Whew. All right. But like, okay, I know what I wanted to talk about. I have been having so much fun so far with Final Fantasy VII Remake, which is like they do just load it up first in the integrate version for PC.
Activating self-destruct sequence.
And it's surprisingly really excellent on this portable.
Yeah, the combat system is... I mean, have you gotten into the combat very much? Cause...
Just the first boss, the one where you have to plant the bomb and then you decide whether you do 20 or 30 minutes. I decided to do 20 minutes, just to be a little bit gutsy.
Yeah, so
and amp that tension.
Also very original. I love that, because it's just like, the game's almost taunting you, like, oh, you're gonna be, you know, are you really cool enough to do this in 20 minutes?
Here's how I justified it. At this point in his journey, Cloud is a very experienced ex-soldier, right? So he's very confident in his operational efficiency. It's the others who are slowing him down. He doesn't like any attachments because, well, anybody could die at any minute. So what's the point of getting attached to people? But I personally love Jesse and I'm a little bit annoyed by Barrett, but I'm sure he gets better later as he develops during the story.
Yeah, Barrett gets a lot more depth.
Right, and
right now
they tried to cut down on the racism that they accidentally did. They did an oopsie. They were a Japanese company trying something new in 1997, having a black side character in a Japanese RPG. The Japanese gaming scene has not been perfect on race, ever, nor any other aspect of Japanese culture. But like, they credit for trying. They created one of the most enduring black characters in video games. So like his annoying behavior, I understand, is supposed to be on the surface. There are many people who I watch stuff with who are just like, this is my gut reaction to him, and that's final. Or just, a trust judgment. But I hope people don't do that because,
this ends
well,
now.
he is definitely annoying. He is so annoying. It's like, like, can you not keep constantly bragging about stuff while you're... Oh, I got other Arisa with a grenade, but it didn't do anything. Derp.
Step Rider.
No.
Who's next?
Well, at least we're winning, right?
For now, we still have to keep them at bay. There we go.
Victory.
Finally! That's a good way to leave off for tonight.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to the menus and, like, summarize some of the points that we did. Oh, I love that cosmetic thing. Oh, goodness, yes. Diva. Let's see. I definitely want to play as her again, but, you know, I want to try some of the new heroes, too, to get back into things that are different, because these new heroes, they are a cacophony to me. I have a very hard time understanding their attack patterns. I tend to try to fight the old heroes, because they're usually still pretty, you know, GOAT for what they are, right? Like, Mercy's the GOAT of healing. But I'll keep playing this game, and absolutely keep playing it with you, because I think, honestly, there's very little left to say that hasn't already been reported about Microsoft and Square Enix layoffs. These companies are being very secretive, and who knows what their next future plans are. We'll find out in June, I guess, at the Summer Game Fest, and then I guess all will be forgiven? I don't know.
That remains to be seen.
That's you know. It's like South Park. Step 1, lay off a bunch of people. Step 2, question mark. Step 3, question mark. Step 4, profit. They really don't know either. If they do implement AI, then I'm done with new video games. I'm just done. Like, there's no reason to play AI recycled garbage. But other than that, I'm pretty loyal as a console gamer. I mean, as I said before, the Steam Deck is a very valid gaming machine, and I have been discovering even more about Crowd Champions, which I want to briefly tell you before you go.
Sure.
Okay, so I underestimated the melee for the longest time in this game. But what it does that's really sweet is when you land on somebody from mid-air, that counts as touching the ground, so then you can do a dash in mid-air, so you can like bonk on an enemy and then dash away. All of this has a very smooth 60 FPS target frame rate, as I've found that the Steam Deck can do that. It can't do that for very long, but I don't have very long to game anyways, so I'm fine with just putting it on the charger periodically while it's downloading an update anyway. Which seems to be constant, but yeah, there's like new music in this latest update to Crowd Champions, and they're bringing in lore and like new islands and a synergy system, which I'm not sure what that is, but I've seen some insane pictures and videos of insane runs, like where people are just like keyboarding it up on really super high-end frame rate PCs and like dashing 500 zillion times. The skill ceiling is very high. It kind of feels like how Doom Eternal was supposed to be, you know, for PC. Yeah. You could do well enough on console playing against other console players, perhaps. Though I never got into the multiplayer of Doom Eternal. I like the Doom 2016 multiplayer better, and I'm sad that it's dead. But like, there's all sort. It almost feels like Tribes.
That's good to hear. I like Tribes.
Yeah, I knew that would entice you. So yeah. You do the slide to build momentum and then jump off of that. And there's a lot of places with like flat hills and launch pads and slopes, dunes, all sorts of wonderful biomes and memorable maps with different strategies that work in different situations, with different weapons, with different mods, with different perks, with different grenade types. Like I had a grenade for one run that spawned slicing sides that moved in a circle. It was awesome. And drew them in, so I could then, like any of the survivors, I could then slide towards them, jump, and then land on them with a melee that crushed all of them with a giant hammer. This game is freaking awesome. I don't think if none of the other games on the platform entice you, then a Steam Deck would be a wise choice there. Because wait a couple years and it'll probably be out of early access. But as it is, it feels very complete with a lot of content, from minigames to multiplayer and everything in between and outside of that. Like, this guy's ambitions are very large, but he has a very clear vision, Noise Storm. His music shows that. Like, it keeps me pumped throughout my day to listen to Technicolor or Puffin Party or Ace. Like, you'll see what I mean once you play this game, but like, I will buy this game all over again on Xbox and we'll play that. And that's why I have my Xbox still, is because I can play with friends who have Xboxes. That's like one of the biggest reasons, is you buy games on consoles where your friends are at.
Right, it's always about the network effect.
Yeah, so Steam already won that war. Like, they are impossible to conquer because they just have such a huge network effect. They have too many games. They now have one of the most popular portable consoles of all time that isn't made by a Japanese studio. Like, this is the adventure of a lifetime for Valve, and they're ready for it. I think the games will come eventually for this thing. But it'll be fine being on every other PC, because, like, people like playing Steam games on PC, and as much as you might criticize Skibidi Toilet, it has brought attention back to the Gmod scene, because the Gmodders who really used to love TF2 found a reason to come back and, like, bounce off of or counteract the influence of Skibidi Toilet. People get into cultural things get into cultural relevance for the weirdest reasons now. Fallout has been fortunate to have a really fantastic TV show. And, like, the X-Men game is perfectly set up by X-Men Season 2. X-Men 97, I mean. Because that finale was bonkers.
Yeah, I haven't started that show yet, but I do want to at some point.
You absolutely should.
I was more of an X-Men Evolution person as a kid, but I did watch, the 90s X-Men as well. I
watched reruns of X-Men when I was much younger, and so that impressed upon me. But we were more... After that show stopped rerunning, we were more into the Bryan Singer X-Men movies, because that was what everybody was into back then. That was like a cultural phenomenon, and I don't think the X-Men live-action stuff will reach that height again for a while unless writing off the MCU. But, well, that's just the way the world works. But this animated series is sticking to its own continuity from before any considerations of the MCU, so it's actually adapting some really cool storylines like Asteroid M, and other such things. Like, this isn't a secret or a spoiler. It's just like they're gonna adapt all sorts of stories from the comics, and many of them are excellent, with really compelling drama animated on screen now, and me literally yelling, "Don't you do that to this character that I love," which I'm not gonna spoil, because a lot of people have a character that they really adore from this show that they really connected with, because this was when a lot of people connected with the X-Men on a deep level. For me, it was Rogue, because it was gender fascination. I don't really know what that entailed in my tiny 5-6-year-old mind, but I just really enjoyed watching her anytime she was on screen. It was amazing. And then Storm was my first TV crush, so, like, everybody has a cartoon crush, and this was mine. As a very innocent kid who was watching this TV show about superheroes beating up giant robots. It was awesome. This thing was awesome, and this new show has, like, so much emotional depth. It's bringing out so much more from the characters than I thought could be displayed on a screen. And some people are calling it the best Marvel watch since Endgame. Like, if there's a reason to jump back into the Marvel universe, it's for X-Men.
I could believe that, because nothing I've seen since, Endgame has really appealed to me at all, so... maybe No Way Home
there's been
was
some solid
okay
projects.
for kind of cheap nostalgia reasons.
I really liked it at the time, but I was riding the nostalgia wave of like seeing Sam Raimi again, and even then,
I don't think that movie works on a movie level. It just works on a hey, I remember that thing level for me.
Yeah, I see that. I enjoyed watching it on a drive-in theater in Massachusetts. So that's what we're probably going to do, is like watch at least one summer movie there. For some reason, I got the National Movie Day tickets for standard price for the for all of us, and they said, well, the tickets at the door are like $3 each. I'm like, oh! But you know what? I contributed quite a big donation to keep this drive-in theater alive because it is an American tradition and we should have it. That is an enjoyable prospect for me. I like going to the movies for that. And it seems like franchise stuff can work lately. Like, people are getting kind of psyched about Borderlands, including my girlfriend. And I want to play that with her because that is.
I was actually going. This is totally coincidental, but I've actually been playing Borderlands the pre-sequel the past couple weeks.
Borderlands the pre-sequel? Oh, well, that's only my favorite one.
Oh, okay. Well, if you ever want to try it, I'm sure you've played plenty of it, but I'm still relatively early on. I'm like 4 or 5 hours in.
I played plenty of it on Steam Deck, and I plan on continuing my Steam progress on the go. Actually, now that you mention it.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I can't search for games, but well, I guess I gotta disconnect the stream and be done with the game. Maybe they just don't want all these store elements being streamed. Whatever, it's fine.
Yeah. So I started Borderlands. Well, remember a couple years ago we played a bunch of Borderlands 2 co-op.
Yeah, and that was okay.
I never picked that back up, but Borderlands 3 was on sale for pretty cheap, so I was like, you know what? I enjoyed these games well enough. I'll buy this, and then I already owned the pre-sequel because I had it from on sale a long time ago. So I'm like, why don't I at least play this before I get to Borderlands 3? So that's why I'm doing that. So if you ever want to party up in any of those games, I don't care which order I go in too much because I don't care about the story that much. So
no, that's right. I think what could be helpful to tie these things together is me explaining why each of these games means so much to me. In heartfelt detail, I hope. Because this. I don't know who this person is on the screen. I guess that's Diva, kind of all grown up with a more short haircut.
That's probably the Porsche collaboration. They're doing a Porsche collaboration.
Wow.
With Diva.
And here I was thinking this was a narrative evolution of her character, but okay.
God, no, it's shameless branding.
That just says it all, doesn't it, everybody? Goodness, but like. Well, yeah, it'll be really great to. I've played these games with other people before, but now they've gone, and it's an emotional graveyard to some extent because of that. But I remember playing a ton of the pre-sequel online on Steam after getting the $90 version while having no money in college. So. To suffice it to say, the pre-sequel means a lot to me, but I think I'd like to try the first one for our first stream of this sort of thing, because I think
we did a bunch of the first one a while ago.
Yeah, but like I'm on my New Game Plus playthrough with the character that I prefer, so I want to make sure that
I'd be up for it.
Okay, yeah, it would just be like a one-time thing anyway, because I mostly played Borderlands 1 single player, but touring the wasteland and stuff like that and reflecting on things would be very interesting to me. Borderlands 2 is a little bit more chaotic. I think I'm going to say that one for last. Borderlands, the pre-sequel, is my second favorite for a bunch of reasons that are too nerdy to get into right now, but you'll soon find out, I'm sure. Borderlands 3 is third place. It's fine. It's a fine game, especially at 120 FPS on the Xbox Series X. But I think I'm also going to download the Epic Game Store version via Heroic on my my Steam Deck and play it that way, because it's mine and I get to enjoy it on the go. So that's a really cool, like way to like maybe refresh some of my memories so we can like really hit the high level stuff if we really get into that game. And then yeah, Borderlands 2 after, but like, do we include Tiny Tina's Wonderland? I think so, because it's
I haven't bought that one yet, so
I think it's coming to Game Pass at some point, isn't it?
I don't know. Let's not put the cart before the horse. So I probably play the mainline games first.
Well, like, let's see, where do I find, like...
Unless it goes on sale for dirt cheap. But I already have like 100 hours, potentially, of Borderlands games, so I don't think I necessarily need to buy more.
Yeah, well, the physical version is of the next gen edition. Let me see about the other platforms, because it's showing PS5. I mean, it does have cross-platform, I think, but we just want the ease and convenience of being on the same platform, I think. So, like, I'll send it to you for your birthday. It's $20 probably.
You want?
Yeah. So that's like the, oh my goodness, chaotic great Xbox digital code. That's the first thing that comes up. Yeah, it's $17.12. That would be perfect to play once we have that time, maybe in the summer when I come up or something, because it'd be nice to play that game on the couch because of the inherent awesomeness of such things that is kind of lost. And with the magic system in this game, it's really cool, actually. It's an interesting little... Yeah, anyway, but you have a good one. I'm really excited to check out Borderlands games with you, and maybe see these more occasionally, unless something new and exciting that week happens.
Yeah. So my week coming up is extremely busy. After tomorrow, which is my one day off, I'm doing 6 days in a row. So I probably won't be available till like the middle of next week.
Yeah, that's totally fine. That's usually when you're on anyway, other than Saturday maybe.
Yeah, the last day of that stretch is going to be Wednesday, I think.
Yeah.
So I could probably do maybe next Wednesday.
Yeah, that totally is fine. Whatever works for you.
That's probably the next day that I'd potentially be free.
I know how hectic your job is. I've had a hectic job these past couple days, but that was delivering office food for a catered party, and having free pasta the next day for lunch, like spicy meat sauce, and I livened it up with pepper flakes and Italian seasoning. So that was pretty decent, but like also the worst salad I've ever had, and way too much garlic bread for one person. Because nobody was taking it for some reason. But anyway, you have a good one. I will talk to you later, and we'll keep each other posted.
Absolutely.
Hope you liked the thumbnail.
I didn't see it.
But anyway.
Yeah. All right.
We'll talk later. Bye. And you all have a good one as well. This is the end. You have a good night, everyone. Okay, come on. Why are you being so slow? Stupid program, come on. What is going wrong with this program? I don't understand. Technical difficulties, everyone.